Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So quite a few people have asked me what it is to own the Mondeo in 2019 or now in 2020 and whether or not they should buy one used. So today I'll give you a review about this car, what's good and what's bad about it. Well, first let's start with the exterior. The Mondeo Mark IV doesn't look as modern as its counterparts like the Mazda 6 or Audi A4 and other cars of this age. But in my opinion, it's still a good looking car. One thing I really love about this Mondeo is the front upper grille. The chrome really stands out and gives it a nice badass look. The headlights are standard halogen, higher trim levels get xenon headlights. And as you can see by the rear, this is a hatchback. The Mondeo also comes as a sedan and as a wagon. For the interior, like in most Mondeos, the seats are very comfortable and enjoyable for long rides. The height for the driver's seat can be controlled electronically by this button. On the passenger side, however, you'll still have to use the old-fashioned lever. Even though the seats are comfortable, there's one thing I don't like about the driver's seat, and that is resting my elbow here. Even though it's nice and soft for longer rides, my elbow starts to hurt for whatever reason, but that might just be me. Speaking of nice and soft, I would say the interior quality is quite good. There's soft materials here, soft material up there, soft material there, and down here all the way there. And on the passenger side too, there's hardly any scratchy plastic in here. For the back seats, there's plenty of space. I have my driver's seat all the way to my driver's position and I'm 1.86 meters tall, and as you can see there's plenty of space in there. And as you can see there's plenty of room for my knees. Here, as you can see, all the rear windows are a bit darkened. And now let's talk about gadgets. Depending on the trim you get, you might also get parking sensors in the front and the back. These parking sensors only turn on when you put the car in reverse. On some other cars, the parking sensors turn on automatically when they detect an obstacle. Like most Fords, this Mondeo also has a heated windshield. A very useful feature in the winter. A 12-volt socket for the front and for the back seats. This car also comes with a Bluetooth system, but for these Mondeos, those Bluetooth modules are prone to crash. Therefore, a lot of owners install additional Bluetooth devices. The Mondeo comes with 3 types of speedometers, with a small screen that's about half size of this one. Then comes this screen, and then there's a colored LCD screen that goes halfway across the speedometer. On this screen you can see the outside temperature, your trip, your distance till your tank is empty, instant fuel consumption, average fuel consumption, and your average speed. And of course, climate control is a must. And I should also mention heated seats, 5 different levels. In terms of practicality, this being a hatchback, there's plenty of space in the trunk. And if you need more space, you can always fold down the back seats with the button over here. Let me focus, there it is. And there you go. And what many people don't know is that you can lift up this seat. And then when you fold it down, you get an even floor. You can also do it on the other side too. And therefore, if you also take out this back shelf, you can easily sleep in this car. If you have to, that is. And now let's talk about engines. If you have followed my channel, then you know that this is a 1.8 liter diesel. Well, It's not something you can win drag races with, but for everyday driving it's plenty. If you want something quicker though, then you should go with the 2-liter or 2.2-liter diesels. In terms of reliability, I would say all diesel engines are pretty good. On this car I have replaced the EGR valve, got the turbo reconditioned, replaced the clutch along with the dual mass flywheel, and pretty much for the major part that's it. However, when you are looking for a 1.8-liter diesel, then you should be looking for a car that is older than year 2008 August, because up until then these Ford engines had, well, let's say, fuel injectors that were not so good, because after a while the fuel injectors clog up and they are quite expensive to replace. But if you do get an older car, then just replace the fuel injectors with newer model ones and you are completely fine. And now let's take it for a spin. So the one thing I like about the Mondeo is the steering. It's actually quite nice and sharp, responsive. I could almost say that it's sporty, which might sound weird because it's a Mondeo. Sport and Mondeo, they just don't go together. As I mentioned earlier, this Mondeo has a 1.8-liter diesel. It's not the quickest car in the world. I mean, it does from 0 to 100 in around 10 seconds. But at the same time, it has quite nice fuel economy. It does according to Ford at least, it does 5.8 liters on 100 kilometers. And to be honest, it's actually the same what the computer says. And that's just with my driving style. I mean, if you're a economic driver, you could get somewhere around 5.4, 3, maybe even 2. Now there is one thing I keep hearing people complaining about the 1.8-liter diesel, and that is the low-end torque. It is what it sounds like. I mean, especially when you start in a first gear from a standstill, you release the clutch just a little too much and the car will die on you. What people do to fix the low-end torque problem is they will do an engine remap. Pretty much that gives you some little extra horsepower, extra torque, and sometimes even extra fuel economy. Me, I'm still debating whether or not I should do it on this car, but probably sometime in a not too far future I will do it. So. And actually, I read some reviews about, people who have done the engine remap on the 1.8-liter diesel. The results are quite satisfying, well, according to them at least. One thing that I forgot to mention that's actually quite common on Mondeos, maybe on other Fords too, is the paint. In my case, the silver paint on my center console buttons here is starting to flake off. It's starting to get those little bubbles beneath the paint. And in my case, it's not as bad. It's just some couple of buttons there, but I've seen Mondeos where the case is a lot worse. I mean, you can't even read what the buttons say anymore. So that's the Mondeo. Now, should you or should you not buy one in 2020? Well, I would say absolutely go for it. I mean, the value you get for the money you pay is actually quite good, because I mean, a Mondeo like this that's 2008 nowadays costs from somewhere around 3,000 to 4,000 euros. So, but when you buy one, I would suggest you go for the 2-liter or the 2.2-liter. I mean, it's a little bit better experience. The 1.8-liter is not bad, but it's not as quick. So that's it for today. Hope you guys liked the review. If you did, then please give it a thumbs up or subscribe, and see you in my next videos.